So how vulnerable are we, and what steps are being taken to protect America's power grids? Insight now from Frank Gaffney, former Assistant Secretary of Defense for Security Policy. And we welcome you. Shouldn't authorities have said something earlier on about terrorism? Why was that kept a secret for so long, Frank?
We've been treating as a dirty little secret something that unfortunately our enemies know all too well, Bill, and that is that the electric grid that is the backbone of America's 21st century society is exceedingly vulnerable at the one end of the spectrum to this kind of very basic, fairly primitive attack. And at the other end, and we were just talking with Senator Ted Cruz and former Director of Central Intelligence Jim Woolsey about this on Capitol Hill, a nuclear weapon detonated in space that could take down the entire grid,
right,
possibly with just one blow. What is missing from this equation at the moment, I think, is a degree of transparency with the American people about the dangers that this poses to all of us.
Yes.
Possibly life-ending for millions, many millions, and really even an existential threat to the country as a whole.
And Homeland Security's stance is that it's up to the individual utilities to protect these power grids. What do you think? Should they?
Well, you know, you have both sides pointing to the other as the outfit that ought to take care of this. The utilities that are dominant in this space own, what is it, 85% or so of the power generation capabilities in the United States. They think it's the government's responsibility if it's, you know, an attack. They even think it's basically the government's responsibility if something else that is absolutely positively going to happen to us, Bill, takes place, namely an intense solar flare exposes the Earth to this kind of electromagnetic energy and takes down our grid and possibly everybody else's. The truth of the matter is this is a national problem. It has to be dealt with as a national problem. I think probably the electric utilities and the ratepayers have a role to play, but so does the government. And if we don't get our hands around this, we're looking at the destruction of our nation inevitably. The last time one of these terrible solar storms happened was 155 years ago. On average, they happen every 150 years. So even if it's not the vandals, vandals who were doing this, who are still at large, by the way,
yes,
then this can happen through any number of other means, and we are inviting it if we don't take steps which we know how to do to protect the grid against this sort of attack.
Well, let's hope the fallout of this is a call to action on all that. Frank, always good to see you. Thank you.